if you're going to run for Nigerian president on the platform of fixing Nigeria's democracy, you would think the first thing you would do is make sure your party primary is clean, transparent, and fair. That's what you would think, yeah? But Atiku Abubakar won ADC presidential primary on May 12th. 2 of his 3 opponents immediately rejected the results and called them concocted. And today, the man who was supposed to be one of his strongest allies inside the ADC has resigned from the party and called the entire exercise a disgraceful charade. His words, not mine. Disgraceful charade. And now, something is happening on Nigerian social media that nobody in Atiku's camp saw coming. Nigerians are starting to say, if this man cannot run a clean party primary, what exactly will he do with the most powerful office in Nigeria? Some are even saying, as painful as it is, they would rather keep Tinubu than replace him with Atiku. Today, we are breaking down the full story, the allegations, the evidences, the responses, and the uncomfortable conversation Nigeria needs to be having about the opposition. Stay with me. Welcome back. This is Adeoti Abayomi. Nigerian politics, straight and simple, every single day. Turn on the notification bell and subscribe right now so you don't miss any single story. This particular story is developing fast. Let's enter into it sharply. Section number 1. The Bombshell resignation. Let me start with this story. It dropped last night because this one changes everything. Babachir David Lawal, former secretary to the government of the Federation under President Buhari, one of the most senior government officials Nigeria had seen in recent years, a man who knows how political power and political manipulation works from the inside. Today, he resigned from the ADC, and in his resignation statement, he said things about Atiku's primary that should make every Nigerian stop and think. Results were just written or rewritten to favor him and his coven. Even where they allowed some semblance of election to hold, the winners were simply replaced with members of his syndicate. In the real sense, it was a disgraceful charade, written or rewritten. Winners replaced with syndicate members. Disgraceful charade. Oh my God. Lawal also said something equally powerful about why he is leaving. He said his decision was informed by the unwillingness to be associated with a political structure that could influence the future election. Listen to that carefully. He is not saying the primary was rigged though. He is saying the same machinery that rigged this primary is the machinery that will be used to rig 2027 general election if Atiku wins the presidency. This is a very serious accusation from a very serious man. Section number 2. Amaechi and Hayatu-Deen already said this. Now, Lawal's resignation did not come in a vacuum. He is the third major figure inside the ADC to call this primary fraudulent. And the first 2 said it even before the final results were announced. Amaechi posted on X, and I covered this in a previous video that got 38,000 views. He said, I unequivocally reject the concocted result being announced. The primary election failed to meet the standard of transparency and fairness earlier promised by the party leadership. Concocted, that is the word he used. He also alleged that 80% of party members were not even allowed to vote at all. Hayatu-Deen, the third candidate, also rejected the process and alleged widespread manipulation across the country. So now you have 3 people, 3 different men, 3 different political backgrounds, all are saying the same thing independently, that this primary was not clean. Amaechi is a South politician. Hayatu-Deen is a northern technocrat. Babachir Lawal is a northeast political heavyweight. They do not share the same tribe, the same region, the same political history, but they are saying the same thing about what happened in that primary. When 3 independent people from 3 different locations all point at the same direction, that is not bitterness. That is simply a pattern, a bad pattern at that. Section number 3. Atiku's response. Now we have to be fair and give you Atiku's side because he has responded and his response deserves to be heard here on our show. His spokesman Frank Schwaibu released a statement saying ADC presidential primaries were conducted across thousands of wards and produced a clear and decisive outcome. What Mr. Lawal has offered Nigerians is not evidence. He has produced no documents, no verifiable facts, no credible witnesses, and no proofs whatsoever to support his sensational allegations. And Atiku's team made one point that And Atiku's team made one point that's actually valid. They said, one cannot celebrate democracy when it produces a preferred result and suddenly condemned it was rigged when it does not. Now, that argument has merit. Losing candidates in Nigerian elections almost always cry rigging. It has become the default response to defeat. And the fact that Lawal, Amaechi, and Hayatu-Deen are all saying rigging without producing documents means their case is currently allegations, not proven facts. Atiku's team also went after Babachir Lawal personally. They reminded Nigeria of his accusation with the grass cutting scandal that ended his time in the Buhari's government, when he was accused of diverting funds meant for IDP camp in the northeast to a company connected to his son. So the question you have to ask yourself is this: is Babachir Lawal making this allegation because they are true, or is he making them because his preferred outcome did not happen? And can both things be true at the same time? Section number 4, the conversation nobody expected, Tinubu versus Atiku. Now, let me get to this conversation. This is happening on Nigerian X and social media right now. The one that has surprised a lot of people. The one I want you to think about honestly. Some Nigerians, and this is a growing number, are saying, and they are saying it out loud, that they were previously only thinking privately. They are saying they would rather have Tinubu for a second term than have Atiku for one term president. Now, before Atiku supporters come for me in the comment section, let me explain the reasoning behind this, because it is not as absurd as it sounds on the surface. The argument goes like this: under Tinubu, Nigerians know what they are dealing with. Painful reforms, high cost of living, broken promises on electricity, but also the economy is slowly stabilizing on macro indicators. GDP is growing, reserves are up, and the reforms, however painful, are at least structural. Now look at what Atiku is offering. A man who has run for president 6 times and never won. A man whose own party primary, which he controlled, has been called a disgraceful charade by 3 different people from 3 different regions. A man whose vice presidential running mate 2023 immediately defected to the party he was supposed to help defeat. A man who has been in Nigerian politics since 1993 and whose primary selling point is essentially trust me this time. And here is the core argument on X. If Atiku rigged his own ADC primaries, where he had everything under control, where he had the party structure, where he only had 3 candidates, what will he do when he has access to the full machinery of the Nigerian federal government, the security agencies, INEC, and 36 state governors? That question is not rhetorical. It is the question that is making some Nigeria, including people who desperately want Tinubu out, pause and wonder whether the replacement is actually better than what they have. Now, I want to be clear. This is not me endorsing Tinubu. This channel does not endorse any candidate per se. What I'm doing here is giving you honest conversation that real Nigerians are having, and that conversation is uncomfortable for everyone right now. Section number 5, the bigger problem. Let me zoom out for a moment, because the Atiku ADC situation is actually a symptom of a much bigger problem. Nigeria's opposition has a structural disease, and that disease is this: every major opposition figure believes and genuinely believes that they personally are the answer to Nigeria's problem. Not a coalition, not a platform, not a shared vision. Them, specifically them, are the solution. Atiku believes it is him. Peter Obi believes it is him. Seyi Makinde believes it is him. And because each of them believes it so strongly, they would rather win a rigged primary, lead a divided opposition, and then lose to Tinubu than step aside for someone who might actually be able to beat Tinubu. The result is what we have right now. 3 major opposition platforms, internal crisis in almost all of them, apart from NDC, allegations of rigging within almost all of them, key figures resigning, and Tinubu is just sitting in Aso Rock watching the opposition hand him over 2027 election before a single vote is even cast. Babachir Lawal said he is leaving the ADC because he does not want to be part of a rigging machine. But here is the honest question: where is he going to? Back to APC? Back to the party that brought us the last 8 years under Buhari? Back to the party where a primary officer counted 85 delegates and called it 201? Nigeria's political problem is not just Tinubu versus Atiku. Nigeria's political problem is a political class across all parties that has decided that the country exists to serve their own ambition, not the other way around. Here's the big question. I want to ask you this question, right? Because that's the core of this entire video. If your choice in 2027 is between Tinubu, who has given you 3 painful years, but at least has not been caught rigging his own primary, and Atiku, whose allies are calling his primary a disgraceful charade, whose political history spans 30 years without a single presidential victory, what do you do? Do you vote for Tinubu for a second term, hoping the reform finally favors us? Or do you vote Atiku and hope this time Atiku will be different? Or would you vote Peter Obi in the NDC and hope the opposition somehow unites? Or do you stay home joining the 73% registered voters who did not bother to vote in 2023 because they already concluded their vote does not count? These are not easy questions, and I want you to think about them before you answer it. And anyone who tells you they have a simple answer to this question, you are not just being honest with us and with yourself. But here is what I know. Nigeria deserves better than this choice. And the only way Nigeria gets better candidates is if Nigerians start holding all politicians, not just one they oppose, to the same standard of accountability. All of them. Anyways, drop your honest answer in the comment section right now. 3 options. Drop Tinubu if you think he deserves a second term, despite the cost of living and all the crisis and fake promises of electricity. Drop Atiku if you still believe Atiku is the best option despite his rigging allegations and his trial and error. Drop Neda if you think Nigeria needs a completely different candidate, and tell me why and who the candidate is, because this comment section should be the most honest political conversation we should be having on this channel. Share this video to every Nigerian following 2027 election that needs to see it and drop their 2 cents in the comment section as well. This story is developing. If Lawal produces evidence or Amaechi goes to court, and if Atiku responds further, we will cover it. Every development on this story, we will cover it on this page. Subscribe right now, turn on the notification bell so that when we drop any video, you will see it. God bless Nigeria and God bless you. I'll see you on the next one.